They say you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but I'm sad to say we all do it now and then. There was once a princess in a faraway land who was rather spoiled. And when I say rather, I mean extremely. And when I say spoiled, I mean she was a total brat. The king was at his wit's end with his daughter. She didn't have a kind word to say about anyone or anything, and spent most of her time dressing in the finest clothes and jewellery and admiring herself in the mirror. She was well known for caring more about how things and people looked than what was really important, and it landed her in a spot of bother, as you will soon see. One morning, while she was out in the palace gardens, she dropped her favourite gold ring into a deep pond. She was just about to fetch a servant to wade in and get it when she heard a voice. "Maybe I can help, princess." The princess turned to see a large frog sat on a lily pad in the centre of the palace pond. "A talking frog? How ugly." Okay," said the frog. "So, would you like me to fetch your ring?" "Sure," said the princess, "but hurry up, it's one of my faves." "Of course," said the frog, "but could I ask for something in return?" "Fine," replied the princess, who wasn't really listening. "Well, if I fetch your ring, would you let me live with you, eat at your table, and sleep on your pillow?" "Sure," said the princess, who wasn't listening, and had no intention of keeping her side of the bargain. "I mean, would you agree to it?" The frog dived down into the pond, and sure enough, a few seconds later, popped back up with the ring in his mouth. The princess took it and shook it. "Yuck," she said, "frog spit," and without saying thank you, she walked off. "I say," said the frog, hopping after her, but he couldn't keep up, and the princess disappeared into the palace. That ungrateful princess thought nothing more of it until she was very surprised to see the same frog sat in pride of place on the dining table. "What's that doing here?" said the princess. The king cleared his throat. "Daughter, this talking frog said that you made a deal." No," said the princess, lying. "Well," said the frog patiently, "that's not strictly true, is it, Your Highness?" The king frowned. This wasn't the first time his daughter had lied. "If you gave your word, then you must keep it, young lady." The princess sat down in a grump. "Fine." The king nodded to the frog, who smiled a froggy smile, and started to eat his dinner. "Yuck! Disgusting!" said the princess, pulling a face. "I'm not hungry anymore." She pushed her plate away and went to her room in a proper royal strop. Soon it was time for bed, and the princess had brushed her teeth, got into her jim-jams and climbed into bed when the frog hopped into her room. "Hello," said the frog happily. "Not you again, frog." "It is me again," said the frog, hopping onto the princess's pillow. "You are kidding me," said the princess, pulling away from the frog. "Seriously? I wish I'd left that silly ring in the pond. It just isn't worth it." "But you gave your word, princess," said the frog. "Oh, will you stop it, you infuriating little beast?" "But, princess—" "Right, I've had it," said the princess, and picked up the frog and threw him against the wall as hard as she could. At that moment there were 2 flashes and 2 bangs, and lying on the ground where the frog had been was a prince. The prince stood up and looked around the room. He felt rather cold all of a sudden without his froggy skin, so he grabbed a sheet off the bed and wrapped it around himself. "Princess, where are you?" he said to no one in particular. The princess was nowhere to be seen, but there in the bed was a lady frog with a rather confused expression. "You are kidding me," said the frog princess. "You were a prince all along?" The prince smiled. The frog princess would have to learn the hard way that happily ever afters are only for people who are beautiful on the inside.